Welcome to the Lecture 16 lecture videos. In these next few videos we're going to talk about function handles, functions, and anonymous functions. We're actually going to start by writing just a simple function, same as we're used to. So let's go ahead and grab us a new function template. The name of this simple function is going to be myFun, short for myfunction. MyFun is going to have a single input argument, that will be x, and a single output argument, y. Okay, so we've got a function named myFun with one input and one output. And this function is actually just going to have one line of code, so it's pretty much the simplest function we've written all semester. It's going to look like this. So y is equal to x plus 1 times x minus 2. Okay, and we'll suppress that output. And now I want you to think about what the value of y will be for a few different values of x. So let's ask ourselves, what will y be for x equals minus 1, 0, 2, and 4? Okay, so why don't you pause the video for a second, get out a piece of pencil, or just use your head and figure out what y will be for those four values of x. Okay, once you've done that, we can now go test our function and see if our answers match, see if MATLAB's right or if we're right or whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and save our function and go back out to our lecture 16 notes script. And now we'll start by testing our function for those values of x that you just did on paper in your head. Okay, so y is equal to myFun, and let's start with x equals minus 1 and run this to see what y is. Okay, so y equals 0 for x equals minus 1, so hopefully that matches what you had. Okay, let's try x equals 0. Okay, if x equals 0, y equals minus 2. Let's try x equals 2. If x equals 2, y equals 0. Okay, and then finally, x equals 4, y equals 10. Okay, so that seems to be working properly. Now let's test our function for a vector input. So let's make a vector of x values. Let's do -4 in increments of 0.01 up to positive 4, and I'll suppress that. Okay, and then y is equal to myFun and pass in x, and I'll suppress that too because that's going to be a pretty big vector. Okay, so now let's run this section and see what shows up in the workspace. Okay, well first we got to deal with this error. So I forgot in my function that x might be a vector. Okay, so if x is going to be a vector, then this needs to be a dot asterisk. Okay, so perfect. Now I can pass in x as a vector and I'll get out y as a vector. So let's save that again. Come back and try to run this again. Okay, great. So now I've got in my workspace over here x as a 1 by 801 double and y as a 1 by 801 double. Okay, and if I want to see what that looks like, I can plot y versus x. So x on the horizontal axis and y on the vertical axis. Let's go ahead and tell it we want that to be in a new figure window. Alright, so now when I run the section, there is the plot of y versus x.